I think I was muted. Hello. The stream didn't start at first. I was like, wait a minute, the power isn't out here. I'm in one of the power outages in California. It's like right up to me, but we have power here. So fingers crossed, really windy, bad fire conditions. So they cut the power to minimize fire danger around here. So, but I'm here. Welcome. I hope you guys can see me and hear me. I launched the stream a few minutes ago and it didn't quite take. It said it wasn't getting the information. So I started it again. So how are you guys? Hi, Ida. How's it going? Hello, World Peas. How are you? It's good to see you guys. It's very fall-like here. How about you guys? Is it starting to feel cool? Yeah. Yeah, Megan, right? Yeah. Useful, right? Hello, Rachel. Good evening. How are you? Hi, Vicky. It's good to see you guys. Yeah, so I kept calling this a zip neck tee. I'm really sorry. I don't know why. I think it was just like old habits from working in the outerwear industry, and the fact that it's one of my husband's favorite type of like layering garments to wear. Like when I met him, he had this like aqua colored zip neck tee, probably from Patagonia, that he wore so much that the shoulders were, you could see through the shoulders because of wearing a backpack. So all the fuzz was gone, everything. It was just basically the little like the little like meshy layer of fabric that the fibers stuck to. It's hot and cold. Yeah, exactly, Megan. Hi, Lisa. How's it going? So yeah, when I met him, it's a very fond memory thinking of him. Hi, Ramona. How's it going? Hi, Kits. How's it going? Yeah, so I kept calling it a zip neck tee. It's like his favorite thing. And so I'm going to make a zip neck. Like I'll just make the neck and collar and like a little bit. So you guys, I feel like I owe it to you now. And it would be easy to convert this pattern to that if you want it. But if you're not into that, you know. It hasn't stopped raining there for weeks, Rachel. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. Ramona, thanks for the $1.09. How'd you do that? That is so crazy. I don't know how you did that, but thank you. How did you do that? I'm like blushing. I see that you donated or something on YouTube. That is so crazy. Didn't come up on the other screen, so you guys are so smart. Oh, there it is. Thank you. I appreciate it. So we have this really great polar fleece here, just like standard. I would say it's a 200 weight. That's what they used to like. They used to do 100, 200, 300 weight polar fleece back when Malden Mills was a thing. Hi, Erin. I almost texted you the other day. How's it going? Hi, Lisa. I already said hi to you, but it was beautiful the last 3 days in Wisconsin. Yeah, right, Ida? I know. They're such a great, like, transitional piece. I know. When I met him, I had one too, you guys. But it was what Patagonia called capeline. So it was more of a wicking layer. And I wore it all the time because I was a full-time cyclist at the time. And it was just handy to have on my bike. I could throw it over things. It kept me kind of warm. And then when I'd get warmed up on my bike, you know, it wasn't too hot to wear. You know, it was really stretchy. I still have it. In fact, I've had it so long. I guess we're both guilty of this. I've had mine so long that there's paint on it from like painting our house, you know. I don't paint my house anymore. I just leave it as is. Hi, Maribel. So, there's some really great details with this. I know you guys were all like thumb holes on the toaster sweater, and I didn't do it because this one has thumb holes, and I like the way she constructs them. She has like a little bit of a gathered detail. Let's see if you can see that. Right there. My shirt's a little short, so. Oh, really, Rona? That's awesome. You're waiting for the first big snowstorm? Wait, someone just said it's been beautiful the last 3 days in Wisconsin. Oh, you're Wyoming. Never mind. Sorry. Oh, hello, Tracy. Tracy from Apparel Pattern Making here, and she sponsored the the High-Neck Sweatshirt. I will stop calling it a zip neck tee. So, oh, really, Erin? Oh, that sounds nice. So it's been really nice here. And then it was extremely windy overnight. So much so that I actually thought somehow in my sleep I turned on my ocean waves like background noise in the middle of the night. That's what it sounded like. Hi, Cheyenne. Cheyenne, did you get that book that I sent you? You were the one, right, that emailed me and said, I'll take a book. Yeah, if any of you guys want a free Audible book, just email me. Because I can send out as many as I want. I can only give you one. And you don't need a credit card to sign up. But if you want an audiobook, I'll send you one. I'm really about audiobooks. Okay, cool. I'm glad you got it. So let's see. I'm going to be making the size large. I meant to look up the finished measurements, but I forgot. So I'm just going by the size chart. I'm about to like 38 bust. And I think it's 37 to 41 for the large. So I'm going for that one. You went on a long bike ride yesterday, Lisa? That's nice. I've been going on runs lately. I'm proud of myself just because, I don't know, I've lost my running mojo and I really want it back because I like running. Oh, yeah, kids. That is scary. You have to cut into a dress length of vintage fabric. What are you making? It says you don't need a credit card if it's your first one, Cheyenne. Doesn't it? I thought you could. A dress? Nice. Kits, are you on Instagram? I'd love to see what you make if you ever want to show me. If you guys follow me and you're private, I don't follow back because I just want to respect your privacy. Unless you're like, no, you can follow me, I'll accept, that's fine. But I try to follow as many of you as possible because I love seeing what you guys make. That's what it's all about, right? I really want to see what you guys are making. So today we're going to cut this out, and I should just get on it because there are more planned power outages. And apparently my building did get one of the emails and saying that we were in one of the zones. So did my house. But both so far are they're only a mile apart, but they're kind of in a weird mile, so they're kind of close together. So we all have power here. I don't know yet. So, okay, Kate, you crazy. I'll try and remember that. Well, oh, right, Cheyenne. Did you go through Audible or Amazon? I forgot Amazon bought Audible. Rachel, you know, I have like issues. Like I had a lot of issues from doing too many things with my hand. Mostly it was just like doing the computer mouse and not, you know, like I think if you weren't trained properly how to hold a mouse, you know, you could injure yourself. And I think I was in that camp. And between that and holding a book, reading in bed at night, and cutting with the rotary knife. The rotary knife is what did it for me, Rachel. So, you're singing opera. You need a new dress by Sunday? Kids, that's a lot of pressure. But you know, Rachel, it's easy to strain those muscles. Cutting is a very unergonomic activity because even if you use scissors, because your wrist is like when you do a rotary knife, this doesn't stay, you know, you do this. Really, like when you're doing it, you're doing this, right? No matter how you do this, your wrist is broken right here, your hand and your arm. And so it's really hard you can't keep this all neutral. You'd have to cut like this all the time, which is not going to happen, right? So I went through hand therapy and really worked on it and solved it, but I also try not to do things to trigger it. So yeah, I know, Megan, right? I feel like the change in weather also. Holding my PlayStation controller. There's one game where I have to press this little button, the stick right here, it's called L3, to run. And man, my thumb gets so tired. Because I clutch, you know, I'm like a panicked gamer. I'm like, the Dorothy Lara. I haven't heard of that. Yeah, exactly, Rachel. Oh, yeah. Yeah, see, and if you have to sit, maybe that does put your arm at another angle. The ergonomic, I know people say we'll get an ergonomic one. It just changes the position. That's all. It doesn't remove it. So the key for me is I change my blades often. Exactly, Megan. I change my blades often, and when I got a stack cutter for chicken boots and an assistant, that helped because then we were sharing the cutting, and the stack cutting was doing like most of the work. It's like this mega machine. I need to sell that machine probably. But anyway, let's get to it. All right, so we're cutting this out today. So we have this really great polar fleece. I'd say it's a pretty nice, substantial weight. I'm gonna say this is the right side because this is the more of the smashed side, as I like to call it. And then there's this great print we have. And Tracy from Apparel Pattern Making supplied these fabrics. They came in a Joann's bag, so maybe they're from Joann's Fabrics. This is more of just like a regular old, like, I want to say it's a rib knit or maybe an interlock. It's very, very stretchy. And we're going to use this as kind of some contrast hits on it, like right here at the center front neck, the pockets, which is nice because you kind of decrease the bulk that sits right here because it's a kangaroo style pocket. And I think the welt pocket opening. I have my little pile of pieces over there. Oh, and then the hem facing. That'll be really cute. And that's another thing I wanted to note is that it's a kangaroo pocket with a welt opening. So I know you guys would like to see me do more welts. I just haven't done any patterns with them. Not that I'm an expert at them, you guys. But I'm totally game. So we can do it. And once I do a few, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. I mean, if you specialize in something, you get really good at it, right? You can't expect yourself to be an ace at something if you've only done it once or twice or even 10 times. So that's kind of where I'm at with welts. I've done them a bunch, but I don't do them all the time. They're so specialized, you know? And this is a welt that you're not putting in the middle of the fabric. It's more along the edge. So it's a really great, less intimidating welt to do. So let's see. And I'm going to show you, I think I can show you pretty easily a variation on the pocket if you don't want to do the welt, like it kind of makes you nervous. So yeah, right, Apparel? Yeah, I'm going to call you Apparel because that's what your name pops up in the stream. Right, Tracy? Yeah. Yeah. I love drafting the pattern pieces. They're really easy to draft, but sewing them, you're just like, what am I doing again? So, all right. So let's see. I'm going to set these aside. And I'm just going to show you really quickly how to do like a quick and dirty version of this zip neck, because you're going to need to modify the 3 collar pattern pieces. So there's this center piece right here, which is in contrast, and where the drawstrings come down and you pull it to cinch it. And then there's a lining piece. Wait, is this the lining? This is the lining piece that goes behind it like this. All right. So you need, I'm going to use this one first, this bigger one here. I cut off all the other sizes except for mine. Mine is this navy blue line right here. Look at this full color printing, you guys. Pretty fancy. Yeah. Oh, put a buttonhole inside the pocket for earphones. Oh, yeah. Well, if Tracy wants it, I could do that. Yeah. You need a hoodie. Oh, I didn't even think about... Making a hood pattern isn't too hard, honestly, because you can use this pattern piece and develop a hood. There's just a few different styles of hoods, and that's the thing you want to look at, because there's hoods that like lay flat on the back, like Little Red Riding style, right? Little Red Riding Hood with like you can point it or square off the point, but then it's flat when it's against your body, and it looks like a bucket on your back, right? Like if you were to like fluff it up, the hood would stay flat on your body with a like opening. And then there's the kind that's more functional, because those kinds are more like cape style. They kind of are loose, and then you get the little point at the top of your head. They're cute, but they're definitely a specific look. Yeah, a hood would be pretty easy. And then the other style that's a little more usable, comfortable, and functional. Someone's knocking on my door. Just a second. Sorry, guys. Hi.
Is this Sweet Tin?
Nope, they're next door. And yeah, and I think there's a note on the door. I didn't see what it said, but.
Oh, the door was open.
Oh, okay, yeah, they're in there. Just call.
Oh.
Yeah, maybe she's using the restroom or something. live video. And that style looks more like, you know what I'm talking about. It looks more like this. And then sometimes there's a pattern piece like this. Like that. And then you could have a little, if you wanted. It's like a side view. So here's the face. My drawing skills. So there's that style, and then there's other even more constructed styles. So there's pretty sure tutorials on the internet, but we could do that sometime, Megan. I have to look at a few measurements. That's why I can't just do it on the fly right now. But you definitely want your measurement from here to here plus a little bit extra, depending on how you want your hood to fit. But just so you know that that style right there, that one that's a little bit more like sporty and functional, it kind of, when it lays flat on your back, it doesn't lay flat. It's more of like a little bit of a lump. Or you could trace off one like a sweatshirt hood, you know. Oh yeah, yeah. You have the hump. Keep your hand on. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. Where's my... Wait, I saw my tracing wheel somewhere and it wasn't here. I was gonna... Oh well. We'll wing it. Alright, so... No, I'm not gonna wing it. I need my tracing wheel. I'll be right back. I almost slipped on the dog bed. Alright, got my tracing wheel. So I'm just going to transfer the pattern. I don't really need the up here so much as I need this right here. There's a few ways to do a high neck with a zipper. You could use a collar pattern that looks more along the lines of this. This would be the fold. Something like that. And this would be the center front. That would be the fold. It would be your shoulder, you know, kind of like that. But this looks like the shaping happens at the center back neck, so we're going to utilize that. And once you have your pattern piece traced, I'm doing it quick and dirty, you guys. These are going to stay the same right here. But now you're going to, let's see, we're going to measure this height right here, which is about 5 1/4. We'll just go up to about 5 1/2, so we get kind of a, we want a right angle right here, for sure. So you could use this. I made that 5 1/2 right here, tall. And then this would be, oh, you place this on the fold. Oh, wait a minute, this is the center back. Okay, so this is the center back. Sorry about that. Okay, let me write that out so you can read it. Fold 5 1/2 inches, all right? Something like that. So you need that, and then you would cut 1 on fold, fabric A, set that aside, and then you're going to use this one as well. And basically we're going to cut the same length, or height, I'm sorry. I'm going too quickly. Let me calm down. It's like if I even implant the idea that I could lose power, I start getting a little like, I gotta hurry. If I lose power, I will make it up to you guys. Don't worry. You can transfer your stitch lines. And your buttonholes. You know, transfer all this stuff right here. There's your center notch right here and your center notch here. And this is the neck edge. The curved edge is the neck edge. Leave that alone. And you want to make sure that this side here and this side here will sew into your new height right here. Well, actually, we're going to do it on this piece. And then we will know exactly where this is going to be at. Because this piece right here, see this? This one goes all the way to the center back. So it's going to line up about, let's see. Well, let's see. This should be, if this is the center back, you see how this one's a little bit shorter? That's to allow for this collar piece. But the fold happens over here. I'm kind of confused, actually. Let me see here if that's on the fold. I think I'm overthinking this. Right? This fold, this piece right here goes behind the collar, but it goes up to this edge, right, Tracy? Goes up to here. Or does it go up to the, you cut two of these. No, just one. Just cut one of these. So it goes like this, right? These all line up right here. And this goes like this. Like that. But I know that this, if this is on the fold. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, okay. You know why? I'm confusing myself because I'm thinking of it like the zipper. Sorry guys. Yeah. Sorry. Because the zipper's gonna have an opening right here. This does not have an opening with the current setup. So I'm confusing myself and you probably too. So yeah, so it goes like this. All right. So that is the center front, by the way. That is not the center back. Center front, right? That's the fold. You want a little notch right here. I got this. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so so now you would need to make all of these two pieces match your lining. All right, just like that. So you can transfer it to this one. I'm going to fold this in half so I get it nice and symmetrical. And this is just if you guys want a zipper. This piece is going to have to be cut in two, and you're going to need to add seam allowance. So we'll just do this. All right, so what I've done is I've lined up my part that's on the fold of this pattern piece right here on the fold of this collar piece right here, which is right here. This is the fold of the center. And you just need to mark your height that you need like this. All right, so now you have your height. And what you could do is just leave that curve the same, but really you just need this curve to be, you just need the top edge. Oh my gosh, I'm such a terrible explainer today. Bye, Tracy. I'm such a terrible explainer today, you guys. I'm really sorry. I'm just gonna start the stream over. Is that okay? All right, this is your lining. Line this all up right here. Put it on your center front fold. Transfer the same height to this piece right here. You don't need to add anything. Just make sure that you have the same shape right here, right? Now you need to add seam allowance. I'm gonna add 3/8. And this would be your new pattern piece so that you can still have the contrast center front right here, right? So you have the contrast center front. These are my lame flowers, right? And then this piece right here isn't going to be on the fold at all. This is why I'm confusing myself. You need seam allowance right there. 3/8 seam allowance right there. You can cut 2 or you can put it on the fold there, which would be kind of odd. And then you're going to transfer this to this piece. I don't know why I made that so hard. Where's my other pattern piece? Where's my other piece of paper? No. I was doing a few too many things right there. This one right here. All right. Basically, I'm taking off the height of the collar right here because that is to add gathers with the drawstring, right? If we don't have the drawstring, we don't need the height. So I'm just straightening it out and all your pattern pieces need to match. Plus, you need seam allowance at the center front because you need to cut down the center and add seam allowance. That's what we're doing. And I feel like you could even do it better by not adding seam allowance at all, because what we're gonna do with the neck is we're just gonna cut straight down on the center front, and then you won't have the ability to add to the seam allowance there. So really you could just leave off the seam allowance on all these pieces, and all you're doing really is just getting rid of this peak right here, okay? So now you just need this all to be the same height right there. Not folded, but we're gonna cut 2, okay? I think I've thoroughly discouraged any of you wanting to make a zip neck tee now. Let's get rid of the seam allowance here. Alright, so we have this piece here. My quick and dirty pattern pieces. Cut 2. Cut 2. It's basically the same pattern piece now, exactly. So you could cut 4 of one of these and be fine, except for the fact that, did I just use the wrong pattern piece again? What in the actual, didn't I use this one for this one? You guys, I'm going crazy right now. Why does this work right here? Is that what I used? You guys, send help. What's wrong with me today? I already created this one. That's this one. You need the extra right here. Yeah. This piece never happened. So the easiest thing would be, you guys, just to trim off the top and cut 4 of these. That would be the easiest thing to do for your zip neck tee. Oh my gosh, I'm cursed. You know, the thing is, partly I'm a little flustered because I just sent off an email where I really like told someone how I felt, and I'm still feeling that way. You know what I mean? It's like carrying over, and I'm sorry. I'm usually pretty good about being like, all right, this is my happy place. I've got you guys. But I don't know. I'm kind of all about that now. Like, I feel like we've gotten away from telling people how we feel because we're afraid of confrontation. And the thing is, if we don't tell people that they've done something kind of wrong, they either continue to do it or they don't realize, like, okay, my bad, you know, you're right, that probably wasn't the best way to handle that. And then it never really doesn't evolve, you know what I mean? Yeah, and so I feel like this is just my personal opinion, that I know all of us don't like confrontation. I hate it too. Like, I almost pass out, you guys, anytime I have to like stand up for myself. I can stand up for someone else a lot easier. I may panic afterward, but during the moment I'm totally fine. But for myself, I do get a little nervous, but at the same time, it's like, that's what it takes, right? And we are the ones who feel like the bad guy telling someone, yo, that wasn't okay, you know? And so that is kind of like, that's where I'm at right now. But the thing is, here's the other thing about me, and this is my problem, is that I knew if I didn't say anything, it was going to bug me. Mainly because I knew it was incorrect. It's like, no, this wasn't handled properly. If it was something like, oh, you know what, I did something wrong and I didn't like them just like not doing this right, and I'm like, it's my fault too, that would have bugged me, but it would have bugged me differently. It's like if it's something that I'm like, I feel like it was a wrong, that I'm like, no, that's not okay, it's gonna bug me for years. Like, still there are things like, and I'm not a person that I can totally let certain things to go. Like, certain things go, I can totally let things go, I can move on. You and I can have an argument and the next day I'm fine, because we got it out there, you know what I mean? But at the same time, like, when it's something like injustice, like, you guys, I once had a therapist and she was late every time. And at first I thought, is she trying to teach me kind of a lesson? I didn't know what kind of lesson. I was like, whatever, I'm on time because I'm paying for the time and I want to be on time. And I would walk up 3 flights of stairs to her office and she would still be late. She took the elevator. You know what I mean? Like, she was late 10 minutes every time. Here's the kicker. She also came to the appointment 10 a.m. with wrinkles on her face because her pillow creases from her pillow were still on her face, and she'd fall asleep during my appointment. Can you believe that? She was a good counselor. And so I ended up leaving because I was like, yeah, this is not working out for me. My time is really important to me, and it was really hard to find the time at the time to see her because it was this awkward time for me. And I still have not told her to this day, yo, that wasn't okay. Right, Vicki? And I just yesterday, I was like, I need to feel a bit better about this thing. And that popped into my head. Like, I started bringing up things like that. Like, that is not okay. So I'm sorry that I'm totally failing you on this zip neck tee. We all do, right, Vicki? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what she needed. She needed more sleep, apparently. But the thing is, like, when you're going to a counselor, the last thing you want is your counselor to, like, go to sleep. Disregard whatever she's asked you to talk about, because you're like, okay, now you're making me feel even worse. I was like, yo, I'm out of here. Oh my gosh. I was actually looking up her email last night and I was like, no, Sarah, you don't need to revisit this. You just need to get this off your chest and you need to move on. So, right, Vicki? Oh my God. Really? Oh my gosh, Megan. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So let's start over. Oh, okay. It doesn't help that I haven't sewn this, so I'm like, wait a minute, you know, which pattern piece is going where? All right, so this is the inner collar, the one that's longer, that extends past this piece. It goes to the middle behind this contrast piece right here, right? So this is how the pattern all stacks up like this. This is how it goes. You could even stack all these up and chop them off and you'd have your pattern, right? Oh, right, kids? Your therapist was 85 and they would fall. I mean, maybe he or she needed a nap, right? But like 10 a.m. in the morning, I'm like, is she gaming all night? Like, what is this? Oh, yeah. Someday I'll tell her, because I know that still bugs me that I never said, you know what, that wasn't okay, you know? If you're trying to teach me a lesson being late, that's one thing. I don't know what that lesson would be, like being on time, paying someone for their time, I feel like is respectful for her clients after me, because, you know, like that's what you'd get. You get the lecture. If you were late, they would be like, I have to end this now because there's another person coming, right? So Oh my gosh, Megan, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you were trying to help. You're there to help, right? Anyhow. All right, so this one right here, let's see what I've got. What kind of, okay, so this one right here is this piece right here, which is the side collar. And all I did was shorten it to 5.5 inches here, right? And I'm not adding seam allowance, and you're going to cut 4. No, you're going to cut 2. Cut 2. Sorry, cut 2. Yeah, it's this one that you need. Okay, yeah. Okay, cut 2. Side collar. This is the collar on the sides, right? Oh, right, Ida? I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, Ida, you want them to be compassionate, right? Hopefully they would show some emotion. I feel like if they didn't show some emotion in certain circumstances, you might be like, wait, am I wrong to feel the way I feel? You know? So, yeah. And my thing like that I emailed about today was more like, you know, you've dismissed me and I'm not okay with being dismissed in this situation. So I said that and I actually feel a lot better and I'm fine with it now. I can move on. And I'm knowing that about myself now. Look, I'm 48 years old and YOLO, right? It's been a tough freaking year around here. Are you, Rachel? Oh gosh. Well, you'll never fall asleep in a session now, will you? Okay, so let's just go with the 5.5. So you're gonna take this piece, copy it, and make it 5.5 inches tall, which, and you know, I could use, where'd my little piece go? Here we go. So it's gonna fit right there. Looks like I didn't get it quite right, did I? We'll add a little bit. Now that we're back on track. We'll add a little bit here, make this, it comes to right here. You know, like it's in front of this, in other words. Let's just add to here. My other problem right now is that I'm doing quick and dirty patterns, and that's kind of hard for me. I'm better at just doing it the proper style, you know? All right, so there we go. We'll just get this a little straight right there. And this is cut 2 as well. Cut 2. Fabric B. This is your side collar. This is your center collar. And now you just need a piece that goes behind all of it and is the same exact size. I know, Nancy. I was too. In fact, my house got an email and a phone call and a text saying that we were in the power zone, outage zone. But my daughter looked at a map and we were just on the other side of it. And same with my office. My office is only a mile away, but like it's like this kind of a mile. So really, we're really close. I just don't know how the grid's configured. So they say we can still have power outage here. So if I wasn't dilly-dallying around, I've been like really messing all this up here. And then I just, you know, had to tell a story. So, all right. So overlapping this, the seam allowance, amountless seam. So there we go. All right. So we want that bottom piece to be the exact same. I'm just showing a version of making this with a zipper. That's all. And I was really failing at first. I just have to laugh. What else have I got, right? All right, so here is my pattern piece. Okay, so 2, and this is the inner collar. No seam allowance here, but it's not on the fold, right? So you need this piece here, side collar cut 2, a whole collar that includes the center. That's our pattern pieces. So hopefully you can follow along, and we'll cut those out in some fabric, and I'll sew one for you guys tomorrow as well. So let's see here. We have fabric B, fabric A, fabric A. These go here. This is fabric B. That's there. Let me cut out my little mock collar. How are you, Nancy? Yeah, I was just like distracted between feeling like, oh, I gotta hurry because there might be a power outage, and I had just fired off like an email that was a little emotional. So it was carrying over. I didn't realize it. I'm fine. This one is, these are both fabric A. So we'll do this as the fabric B. So I really have just a tiny little piece. I'll use this over here. This is just for my little sample. I don't have the perfect fabrics for it, but this will work. I'm just trying to use something that you might use. All right, so then I have this. I went and got my clover majiggies when I went and I was looking for my tracing wheel. All right, so we got that. Look at that, I cut right in the middle. Okay, and now I'm gonna just cut my sample pieces in this leftover toaster fabric. It looks like a few of you guys have been making toasters. That's awesome. Oh, I needed to tell you guys that this pattern, the High-Neck Sweatshirt that we're making today, she gave you guys a discount for 15% off, I think, through October, and the code is SoSoLive. All right. Let's see. What's the bigger one? This one is. All right, so I need 2 of these. This toaster fleece is pretty thick. It would make a good one of these high-neck sweatshirts. This melange sweater knit. Super cozy. Oh, bummer, Rachel. It's on the internet. It was a pretty quick sew, you know. We did it all in one sitting, so that was pretty cool. And I did it all on the serger. So we didn't do the top stitching recommended in the pattern, so it made it pretty quick. Trying to find a good spot. I don't know why I'm like, I can't really make anything with what I have left here, but apparently, you know, it's good for this, right? So it's good I have it. I talked to Hart yesterday too, and we got some new projects coming. It's gonna be good fall. Are you guys into sewing for kids? How do you guys feel about that? I told him that we would be down for that. All right, so let's cut this out. This will be fun. This is gonna be a fun sew. I haven't sewn outerwear like this in a while, and I like sewing it. So you don't need a cover stitch for this pattern either, just so you know. And she gives you some, oh, here we go. Oh yeah, so this is a Joanne fabric, Doodles, designed in Hudson, Ohio. She gives you some illustrations of what is like possible ways to sew without a serger or with a serger. Like some seam examples, which I think is really helpful. Sometimes people are like, I don't know what a serger is. So what are they talking about? And then when they see it, they're like, oh, okay. I know now, you know? And then what you can do besides if you have one, if you don't have one. All right, so these are all the pieces that are in the contrast fabric, and I'm going by the pattern on what the pattern says. I'm trying to get this so that it doesn't feel off grain. Here we go. I think I just had a little bubble right there. All right, so we have one of these, two of the pocket welt, one of these on the fold, and one of these on the fold, one of these on the fold, and cut two of these. Okay, so a lot of these I'm going to have to specifically fold. Well, maybe I could leave this one almost. When I have things that are on the fold, I actually try and fold the fabric for it so that it uses less, rather than cutting it out and smack dab in the middle of the fabric. Small children, I think. Cheyenne, do you have a teenager? Would your teenager let you sew for them? Because that'd be pretty cool. Mine's been a pretty good sport, hasn't she? You need to find menswear. Have you tried Thread Theory, Rachel? Or are all yours from there already? Trying to get this on green. I can see the rib. Knits are kind of the worst to fold, aren't they? They're so grabby. All right, I have this. That better fit. I was gonna say. You want to sew children's kits? Is that what that yes means? Yeah, I think they got some patterns by Sew Over It. So, no, then it's being hard to fold. Yeah. Yeah, Thread Theory Designs, Rachel, specializes in men's clothes. And interesting also, she's a Canadian company. Interestingly also is she has other people's menswear patterns on her website. So you actually can see a few other things there too. Oh, that's nice, Cheyenne. That's awesome. All right, so we're going for it. We're finally cutting something. I'm cutting out the large. It's a nice, big, fat blue line to go by, which is nice. I could get this a little better right here. Right there. All right. And now we have, I'm gonna wait to do this one. So the interesting thing about this sweatshirt is that the lines, the side seams come to the front like this. And so then the pocket goes across the front. It also removes the side seams from the side and kind of pivots them to the front, which can be kind of flattering for some folks. And sometimes this is a high abrasion area for certain things, and so that's why they'll move side seams. I think for her, I'm not sure why she did it for this one, except that it is a nice sporty look, you know? We need one of these, two of these on fold, one of these on the fold. Let's keep our fold over here. Let's see here. We have that one, and I think we need 2 of these. Yeah, we need 2 of these. These are the cuffs with the thumb opening. Yeah, me too, Nancy. So if you wanted to do a kangaroo pocket that didn't have the welt, you could just cut your pattern pieces without the notch in it. You don't need the flap. And then when you go to sew your pocket opening, you're going to want to notch here kind of like that. You know, notch, not the, you just don't want to cut this out. Just cut this nice straight line, smooth this line all the way. And then you can sew this as if it's a side seam pocket, right? So you're going to sew your pocket bag to the front, and then you will sew it together like right here on the side seams and leave your pocket opening available. And then the under piece would get enclosed in the side seam. And I'll try and remember to go over that when we're sewing it. So it'd be easy to make this pattern more beginner friendly. But the thing is, it's nice having, I really like seeing patterns that have sewing details that are a little bit more advanced, because it stretches your skills, first of all, and it also gives you a garment you're probably more interested in and is more off the rack looking, you know? All right, so I'm gonna cut my pocket opening here. I just do my best with these interior corners like this. And then what I'll do is, now that I know that's where my corners are, I kind of pull it apart and keep the rest of the piece from getting, oops, well that was a fail. But I keep it, pull it away like this, and then just grab just what I want to cut. That one I got snuck under there, but it's got a big enough seam allowance that I can fix that, or I can cut another one out. But we'll just deal with it. I don't mind. Yeah. Yeah, I started in children's wear, so I'm like, yeah, we can sew children's wear. I love children's wear. It's fun. I need this one on the fold. Oh, so we should all say hi to Ray. She said she sent me a really nice email this morning. I barely got to, I don't even think I finished reading it because I had to get started. And she said that she's unable to chat in chat right now because of some little technical glitch going on. So she's here listening and watching probably. Hi, Ray. I'm gonna do my notch right here. I peel back the fabric a little just so I don't notch too far in there. And then we'll do the notch on this one as well that I didn't do yet. Right here. I'm pretty sure that this right here denotes that it's on the fold. Don't notch that. Tearing skirt panels and vintage fabric is spooky. Do you like to tear things instead of cut them, Kit? I know some people who do. Alright, we got those. We have, this is the length grain, so we'll stick with that. I still have a pretty big piece. I would stick to the grain line on a piece like this because unless you have some sort of print that you're really wanting to feature, like maybe it was a stripe and you want the stripes to go this way across your pocket opening, mainly I say stick with the grain line because there's probably less stretch going this way than there is this way, and it'll be a little easier to handle. I think even interfacing this piece, like with an actual fusible or something, a sew-in, just something to stabilize it, would make it even easier. You don't really need it to be stretchy. It's wide enough for your hand, and pocket openings really shouldn't stretch. They'll just get worn out. You know what I mean? Jelly beans. Oh yeah, it is a nice sound. I agree. All right, 2 more pieces of the cuff. So now I have a nice big piece left here. I like this knit. So this is the cuff. Gets folded right here. This edge is gathered up for the thumb hole. And I haven't cut my size off of here yet, so I definitely gotta be cognizant of which one's mine, which is this blue one right here. All right. Should I add some scissors here? What is this, a sewing studio or what? I think doing a lot of notches is always better with your scissors. You have a 3/8 inch seam allowance, so you don't want too much. You just need a tiny little nip. I can't remember what the circle is for, but we might need that at the machine, but I'll leave the pattern piece with it. I'm leaving all my pattern pieces with it this time. I love things that I'm not quite sure how to sew. I know that's like the opposite of what most people think, but I'm kind of like, ooh, I can't wait to do something I haven't done before. I mean, yeah, I'm a little nervous, but you always notch outwards, Kits. That's smart. Yeah, they are, Nancy. They're allowed to run generators. It's not that common where I live. Like, I'm in the city of the area. It's only about 85,000 people. But, you know, maybe in some of the rural areas, they might have ordinances against noise and stuff like that. Right now, there's a lot of things like that where there's just not rules about that. We're still a disaster zone in a way, you know, like recovering from the fire. And I saw people stocking up on ice yesterday, and there were no candles for sale, not even for sale at the hardware store. So maybe people have all switched to flashlights and things like that, and maybe candles are kind of frowned upon for longevity or fire safety. I don't really know. You know, we charged up our devices and things like that, but mostly we just focused on our flashlights and stuff. It's really temporary. It's a planned power outage, which is different than losing power unexpectedly. The biggest stress, honestly, is my husband's grandmother is at an independent living facility, and they also have, what do they call it when it's not independent? Like it's more dependent, you know, like where they're like in a more of a hospital situation. They also have that at their building. It's like a 3-story apartment building with like 100 residents. And they lost power, and they don't have generators, which I thought they did. I swear that's what they said when we went there and like interviewed the place, you know? So like for her, she's not able to cook her own meals and things like that. So my husband, like first thing this morning, went over and just checked on her and made sure she had some food. And they were actually cooking meals and stuff like that still. I don't know how, but they were just maybe doing cold breakfast and stuff. So yeah. Yeah, I've heard that, Nancy. I've seen Clara Parks post like that. Okay, this fabric, look how wide this fabric is, you guys. It's like 64 inches wide. Oh, I know, right, Kits? That is a very traditional way to sew, like ripping your seams in, you know, in like the times before there were patterns, all pattern pieces were squares or rectangles. Like all the peasant tops and things like that. Like if you ever sew a folkwear pattern, if you guys ever want to kind of expand your sewing skills a little beyond like ready to wear looking stuff, I highly recommend sewing folkwear patterns because it's like a completely different way to think about how to sew things together. And you start really thinking in another way about how the garment molds to the body. Because they didn't have armholes with a curve, they had a square armhole, and then they had a gusset, which was a square, and you sewed it in this really interesting way. It was like origami for sewing, you know? It was really cool. Yeah, exactly, Kits, exactly. Yeah, because you learned how to sew through traditional or historical clothing. Yeah, they would tear the fabric. It would be a luxury to have a pair of scissors. Scissors probably weren't even around for a long time, you know? They would rip everything. Can you imagine hand weaving fabric and then ripping it? Like think about it that way. Like I know a lot of people who, you know, spin their yarn and then weave it into things, or spin their yarn or the fiber or whatever and knit it into things, and then to like cut into it. Like you know, it's like art now rather than a wearable thing. So really cool. Yeah, Nancy. So I've heard a little bit of backlash towards PG&E for the power outage thing, but honestly, like most of our fires have started because of PG&E, which is our electrical company here, because they're trying to get power to a lot of people. It's a very dry area and sparks happen. And so, and I'm oversimplifying this. Like I am in no way very well educated about the topic, and I would never want to offend someone who is feeling this 1,000,000% right now. So, they are kind of scrambling for ways to keep us safe, and this is one of them, doing the planned power outages when it's this windy. So I'll take it. Like I honestly don't ever want to go through that again. It was awful, and my house didn't even burn down. But being terrified and packing up, I don't want to ever go through that again. That was a feeling I've never felt before, and I hated it. Hated it. So not knowing, you know. All right, so I'm going to cut a chunk of fabric off here to make this a little more manageable to deal with. I can get both my front and my back on this piece here, so I'm just going to cut it off. I've got plenty of fabric. You need the front, the back, the sleeves, and then you also need your pocket facing and your 2 collar pattern pieces that I fiddled around with and bored you guys up to tears with earlier. Yeah, it's true, Nancy. I actually met a really nice woman last week whose husband's retired from PG&E, and they moved here. 2 months before the fire, they moved here. He retired from PG&E, and then the fire happened. And then they've asked him to come back to work, and he's like, no. So it's they're in a tough spot. Okay. Polar fleece in general doesn't have a directional nap. It has a nap, and by nap I mean like the best explanation for a nap is if you ever sew corduroy and you rub your leg one way and then rub it the other way, it looks different one way versus the other, and then you make the mistake of doing your right front leg one direction and your left front leg the other direction, you'll keenly be aware of the nap and you'll never do that again. The polar fleece is synthetic, sometimes made from recycled plastic bottles. It is polyester based, and it doesn't have a nap. Sometimes they do. All right, so this piece here is the front. So you can see the seam right here cuts right to towards the front there. All right, I keep thinking this purple line is me. I hope I didn't use that purple line. I keep thinking it's the blue one. mean, it looks blue until I see the blue, you know? Then I'm like, oh yeah, that's purple. You could, Nancy, but come on. So this kind of fleece can be so thick that you're gonna rip your pattern as you sew it if you use a rotary knife. Unless you use a bigger rotary knife than I'm using. I'm using a 45 millimeter. The one up from this is a 60 millimeter. I don't actually own one of these, but I know people like them. So if you have one, you might want to use it for this kind of a project. You just don't really want it to be inaccurate. That's your #1 goal right now. All right, so let's do a better job of my opening here. All right, we got our front, and I'm not going to keep this pattern piece on here. I know that's my front. That one's not one I'll need my pattern piece for. Now we'll do our back. Kinda Nancy, huh? I don't think I pre-washed this, but I did pre-wash the other fabric. You're not gonna get shrinkage with polar fleece. But you know, I feel like it's good to pre-wash your fabric, even if it's just from the standpoint of the fact that it's been lots of places before it got to you. Kind of like your clothes at the store. Like the last thing we want to do usually is wait to wash our new clothes. You know, like you're excited and you want to wear your new outfit the next day, especially when you're a teenager. And the thing is, like, I've worked in factories and I've seen what happens to the garments. They end up in the ground. Someone may have had a cold when they were sewing it. I don't know. That sounds, I'm not a germaphobe, but it's kind of a good idea to wash your clothes, you know, when you buy them. And I feel that way about your fabric too. So this is the pocket opening. You see these two notches here. So like I said, you could do the side seam pocket style sewing if you are a little nervous about the welt. I think personally you got this. You can do that welt. It's a really good trial. This is the purple, black, and then mine is usually it jumps to this next size group here. Oh, I cut that a little crooked. I don't think any of my pieces here will fit on this. All right, so I think I don't really need these two notches. That's just for the sleeve. I'll do this right here. I think that's for your back waist spacing. And then I'm gonna do the notch for the pocket here. Pumpkin orange. Well, it's not really pumpkin, is it? This is so much fabric. So personally, I feel like this is the right side of the fabric. I don't know if you can see the difference. It looks so much darker on the camera. I really struggled to get it lighter, but this side is more of a pile and it's a little fluffier, and this is more smooth. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see that. But I think you know what I mean when you're dealing with polar fleece. Polar fleece is honestly probably a brand name. Interesting fact. I actually won a design award from Malden Mills, who was the creator of Polar Fleece. It's sitting right over there, and it's from Tiffany, like Tiffany, the jewelry company. Isn't that crazy? I don't know what possessed them to get awards made. It's lead crystal. It's a lead crystal award. And when I got it, I was flying home. I can't remember why, but they, the crew it was a company I worked for, Cocotat. I was working for them when I got the award, but I was freelance. And so they took my award home for me from the show, and they couldn't bring it on the plane. There was something about it because it's lead crystal. It was really funny. So they had to check it in baggage or something. I can't remember what they did, but this was way before 9/11, by the way. Yeah, right, Nancy? Exactly. Yeah, so that's from them. It was the Apex Award for design something, excellence or something like that. And it was for a women's drop seat liner made out of fabric like this, but it was called Power Stretch. It was a really, really stretchy fleece. And I made a design for women, which at the time wasn't very common, to make it easier for them to use the restroom while they were like boating and stuff. So we made dry suits, and that you would wear this base layer piece under the dry suit. And it had this huge curved zipper along your backside like this, like from here to here. And the zipper had to stay away from all the contact points of when you're sitting in a boat. And when you sit in a boat, you're kind of in this weird position, kind of an unergonomic position. And it had to sit away from the contact points of the dry suit over it, which also has this waterproof, huge, chunky zipper. But it had to line up so that when you unzipped one, you could unzip the other and use the restroom. And like, people do some crazy stuff when they're like out at sea and they're not coming to shore. They will hang off the side of a boat. I mean, it had to be really easy to use, and it was a fun design. I forget about that until like I see Polar Fleece and I'm like, oh yeah, I did that. And I met other really amazing people who won the award in other categories. One of them I stayed friends with for a long time, the other woman that won. Because, you know, not a lot of women win, of course. So it's a little different now. Okay. Oh, that was nice, huh? Didn't tear my... It's funny, I'm tearing the paper more when my blade's facing the piece and less when it was away. Maybe this smooths it out right here. But I was tearing it right here. Yeah, it's not that. Oh well. Maybe it was the angle. Yeah, very nice. Who wants to be in your suit? Well, surfers do, Megan, to stay warm. But they do up here at least. Or not up here. I say that like I live in Humboldt still. But where it was really cold in the water, that's what they would do. They would get into their wetsuits, which are different than dry suits, and they would pee to warm them up. All right, so it looks like there's a shoulder notch here. Awesome. I love a shoulder notch. I'm going to get my... Nah, I'm not going to get... let's see. So this circle probably is for that cuff thing that we saw earlier. I won't notch it so that I remember to do it while we're at the machine, and I remember that the circle goes to the circle, the notch goes to the notch. We'll do this one right here. That award was a long time ago, you guys, but thanks. Yeah, it is gross. Well, Megan... I spent a lot of time talking about, researching, and interviewing people on how they went to the bathroom when they were at sea or boating. And there are definite contraptions for this. Like before anyone made anything, you would take like a dish soap container, upside down, you'd cut the corner off of it and like pee into that, and then it would like a funnel. And then but you know, there wasn't really anything, you know, and if you're out there with other people, it's a thing. It's a thing, and women deserved, you know, their own ways of dealing with things. So, we just wanted it to be easier. But that was one of the things I had to do. I had to try it. I had to try it a few times to make sure I knew that I was doing something that would be useful. So, and I talked to we had a lot of sponsored paddlers and Olympic paddlers that we dealt with, and they were really awesome and so thrilled that people were listening to what they needed. So it was good. It was a good experience. I like stuff like that. All right, so you have your collar, and you need 2 of these. I'm gonna do it in this piece that's right next to where the sleeve was. I really like pattern drafting for solving problems. You know? I've definitely struggled with my skill not being something that contributes to society. Look at how nice and smooth that was again. You know? And I've had to definitely tell myself, you know, the thing is right now you are helping people recognize where their clothes come from and what it would take. I'm definitely privileging my way out of feeling bad. I understand that. But you know, it is nice when I have gotten to do some things that will help, you know, because I'd much rather do it to help people. All right, 1, 2, 3. That's not my notch. That's my notch. I was gonna say that's not even on the. What is this notch for? All right, well, we'll notch it. I'm gonna clamp this one. Yeah, you know, Rachel, my mom had that idea for me probably 25 years ago. And at the time, I just wasn't in the right place to even, and I want to qualify this because I actually seriously considered it, and I still consider doing that. Here's the deal. This is really weird, and it seems like I'm explaining my way out of this, but I'm going to tell you something. Living in California, there's this really weird, antiquated law on the books that prevents me from sewing and making clothing unless I have a garment manufacturer's license, which is pretty expensive, and you have to renew it annually, and you have to go to San Francisco to do it. And I understand the reasoning for the law at the time they put it on the books was during the Industrial Revolution, and it was to protect women and children in terrible working conditions in factories. The loophole is that you can do non-wearable items, hence why I had a bag making business. So, doing a business where you're making clothing, and I know people do it, you guys. I really know people do it, but they're just flying under the radar. And I'm not gonna be the one that says anything about it. You know, they can fly under the radar for all I'm considering. Yeah. So, yeah, I have thought about it, but going through that, I don't really have the resources to start a clothing company. But I have thought about if I ever did a clothing line, which I'm not anywhere near right now, I would definitely take that into consideration, making patterns that would be photographed so that they're sitting down so you can see how it works and how it fits, and looking at the needs of people who sit, you know? Because I feel that is an underserved person. They need those options without having to change their patterns all the time, right? So that would be awesome. Yeah, I hope, kids, and we'll see. Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. There's fees and licenses. Yeah, right, Megan? I know. Well, and it's interesting because I had this client who was super passionate when I did the pattern drafting business. And she didn't know anything about the garment industry. And so I just said, you know, she probably wanted me to sew for her or whatever. And I was like, well, here's the deal. I can't really. I can do your prototypes. And when I did prototypes, I would put the buttonholes on something, but not the buttons, things like that. Or I wouldn't put buttons and buttonholes because then I can say, hey, I didn't give it to them to be able to be worn. It was purely a prototype. I was on their radar. That's why I knew I had to be careful. I had been in the garment industry a while and been freelance for a while. And I was the only pattern drafter with a website. So, you know, I was kind of like, okay, this is working. I really like this business. And so she was really feisty, like, and smart, had resources and the time. And so she went after that law, Megan. Like, she researched it and figured out, like, she wanted to know, like, is this something that's being currently enforced? And I knew it was, because the people who get hit the hardest are screen printers. Screen printers technically in California need to have a garment manufacturer's license. So they're sometimes shut down unexpectedly because they don't know about this law. And it's not like when you go into business, people tell you about a law or tell you about all the laws, right? You just have to know what you're supposed to be doing to abide by everything for city and government laws. And, oh, I didn't cut this in the floral yet. So she decided that she was going to find out, and she went as far as figuring out who the people employed in that position were, because it's a state job, right? So she knew that we could have access to that information, and she learned that it was 100% those people's salaries came only from the fines. So it was a self-perpetuating job. Hi, Alicia. How's it going? Thanks for your donation. I saw that. Appreciate it. Yeah, right, Rachel? Exactly. You have to, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, you would know. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And so it is just one of those weird laws on the books, and there's not going to be a push to change it. So, but yeah, I mean, it would support people for cottage industry, and cottage industry is, oh my gosh, this is on the fold. I almost made a big old mistake here. Is this piece big enough? I think it is. Yeah, so my friend, like, she was kind of a friend. Like, I knew her because her husband married my husband and I. And so I met her when I got to know him, the guy who married us, who was my husband's really good friend, and he's a really awesome guy. And so I got to know her better. This woman was hilarious. I mean, she once trapped a bear in her yard. And my neighbor was the county trapper, and he told me, like, later, I was like, oh, how's it going, Jace? He's like, oh, it's good. I mean, I just went on the craziest thing, and his woman had trapped a bear. I didn't know he was talking about my friend until a few weeks later. Then I was like, oh, well, that was true. She was intense. I wouldn't want to be on the wrong side of her. But she decided she was going to get, like, a P.O. box in Oregon and do all this kind of crazy stuff to get around it. I don't really know how it all worked out. I did what I needed for her, and then she kind of did her own thing. So, oh yeah. All right, so we've got this one. This one's on the fold. Don't notch this. I'm pretty sure you don't notch these right here. I think it's just to denote that that's on the fold. You have a stitch line here for your tunnels for your drawstrings. So I'm just gonna hang on to this. I'm gonna notch it. Good thing she doesn't want the pattern back. It was nice of her to give me the pattern because I'm obliterating it. All right, we have one more piece to cut out. Because I somehow missed this one. So I need tomorrow to put the buttonholes, what is that, on the collar first. So I'm going to do that off camera, and then we'll sew. It's going to be a hybrid between overlock or serger, however you call that, and the regular machine. So it'll be a little bit of jumping back and forth, but I'll have them side by side. So, Ah, yeah, kits. Hi, Mata. Yeah, I caught it. It was that. You're right. Good thing you caught it. Yo, it's not easy talking and doing this at the same time. No, it's just easy. I'm trying to make you feel bad. Why is this? Wait a minute. Where's my line? My line's right. That's purple. That's blue. That's purple. That's blue. I have to tell myself out loud. There we go. Isn't color fascinating? How we all see color differently? Like you and I would see different colors for like if we were looking at them, but we wouldn't know it. I just know this from experience working places and talking to people, especially when you come to teal, blues, and greens. We all have different words for that. This is not for me. This is sponsored. This stream sponsored by Apparel Pattern Making, who drafted this pattern. Her other pattern name is Anno and Pum. A-N-N-O and Pum, P-U-M. And she does a few other, she has some kids patterns and some other women's wear patterns. And I'll be sending this back to her. So this is all her choices. All right, so let's get my notches here, here, here. This is kind of giving me the stitching line here, the vibe of, remember the Lucida dress? When we put the channels down the center? Right, kids? Exactly. So I'm going to keep this pattern piece with me so that I have the stitch lines as a guide. Ooh, I'm so glad we made it through the cutting without losing power. It looks like the wind, oh, it's still windy, but it's calmed down a lot. So that's good. To me, it's crazy that we've been in fire season for a few months now, but the fire that happened here, the anniversary is not till November. Like, that's how late that was. Isn't that crazy? You think, we're decorating for Christmas. We're kind of out of there. I mean, not blast your eyeballs with this up here. So, for any of those of you who have joined late, we're making this high-neck sweatshirt. It has a kangaroo pocket that's welt style, but in a side seam, so it's not as tricky as putting it like in the middle of a garment. It has a thumb hole in the cuff that has some gathering around it. And it has an adjustable neck. And because I kept accidentally calling this a zip neck pullover, I'm going to be doing a zip neck version of just the collar in front there. So, oh, I'm in an area, Mata, where they've been turning off the power preventatively as just like a fire prevention method. And it's off near me, really close to me. But my house and my office here are fine. So yeah, but they say, oh, we can still cut power to those areas by 1 p.m. today, I think. And it's like 12:30. Or maybe it was noon today, so I think we're okay. So yeah, so we're going to do this tomorrow. I meant to tell you that the sizing goes down to an extra small, which is a 32-33 bust, 33-34 hip. And it goes up to a 4XL, which is a 53 to 57 inch chest, and a 54 to 58 inch hip. I am making the large, which is like smack dab in the middle of all the sizing. I'm about a 38 bust, and the chest on this one goes 37 to 41. I probably could have made the medium, but I forgot to look at the finished measurements, and I just thought I'd go for the large. So yeah, it's just a preventative, Mata. We don't have a fire here right now. So that's just one way, because when they cut power, it just lessens the likelihood of sparks happening because we have very high winds right now. That's all. So, oh yeah, World Peas, exactly. Yeah, the woman I met who I told you whose husband worked for PG&E, she came from Santa Rosa. And so they lived through that fire already. And then they moved to ours. So, California, man. I saw a funny post. We were talking about the weather earlier today, and I saw someone's funny post. It said, welcome to California, where it's winter at 6 a.m., spring at 10 a.m., summer at 3 p.m., and fall at 6 p.m., or something like that. And I was like, that's so true. I'm wearing jeans today, but I got my Cali shirt that I turned, from a dress. Look at my little miniature pocket still here. It doesn't look weird though, does it? It kind of adds, I got my little hit. But, and I meant to, Eliza's not, I think it was Eliza that was, or maybe it was Louise. But I flipped my pleat, you guys. You see that? So remember when I first sewed this, I made the box pleat and it gave me that pillowcase back. So I inverted it. I took it out of the yoke and just edge stitched it shut. So, oh, Lisa, I'm so glad to hear that. Yeah, that took a long time. Yeah, right, kids? For me, it's peanut M&Ms. She says sometimes you have like some fruit snacks you want to put in your pocket. Yeah, me too, Nancy. I think that was a good idea. You guys warned me. I remember you guys saying, are you sure you want to flip the pleat that way? And I was like, yeah, I want to do whatever I want. Or dog treats. Well, kids, we had a dog trainer whose jackets was like ruined right there because her dogs would know that the pleats were in that the dog treats were in that pocket and they would nibble that pocket. So she had to keep resewing that pocket. So I've learned not to keep treats in my pocket anymore. Loki would full on go after my clothes. Yeah. Yeah, so I cut this. If you look at the Cali shirt dress on the website, I have all the versions I did. So I did the dress. I liked it, but it was a little too short because I made an error in judgment there thinking, oh, I don't really want it that long on the sides or in the front. And then the sides were just so high up compared to the bottom that I ended up making something a little, like I couldn't quite wear it with leggings because the pleat, while is decorative, I'm pretty sure. And then they've draped out the circumference that the pleat gives you in the hips. And so it wasn't quite big enough for me to wear, like loose enough in the hip area to wear over leggings. So I shortened it. And I finished it completely and I liked it and I put vents on the side and I still had my pockets and it was a little longer. And then I was like, nope, I don't like this. And so I cut it again. So peanut M&M. Oh, I'm jealous, Megan. Dang it, now I want some. I could walk to the little market. Oh, right, kids? We had a dog that did that to my husband's. Oh, yeah, he's been taking my pajama bottoms and dragging them all over lately. Mini M&Ms are the best M&Ms? No, peanut M&Ms all the way. Peanut M&Ms. You're eating Smarties? Look at you. I love all the sweet teeth out here. I'll show you what I really like. Okay, you guys, I will be floored if any of you have heard of this, unless Brooke's watching and she hasn't said hi, but this. It's a Mexican candy made from tamarind, and it's like salted and spicy, and it's really good. It tastes kind of like dried strawberry fruit leather, but it's kind of spicy and salty all at the same time. The pretzel M&Ms, like the pretzel M&Ms sound good in theory, but they're not salty enough for me. The mini are for baking, Megan says. She just hoards oh, that's hilarious. Peanut butter and peanut and Nutella. Oh yeah, that sounds good. I like Nutella. Peanut butters are my weakness. I have a friend who's like, my mom too, she just like I'm always like, oh, you want some ice cream? And she's like, is it peanut butter and chocolate? I'm like, of course. And she's like, no, I don't like that. She doesn't like peanut butter and things like that. And same with my friend that I game with. Yeah, you've heard of it, World Peace? It's awesome. Are you Californian? I'm suspecting yes. Yeah, I learned that they even have a watermelon one. They have a mango one. And one other. And they're even better. But I like this one a lot. Brooke turned me on to them, and then I bought a box. They're like 50 calories each. I figured it out because I love them so much. They're like the perfect combo of sweet, but not too sweet. It's good. But now I want peanut M&Ms really bad, and I think I might go get some. Thanks a lot. Yeah, you are world peace. That's what I figured. Yeah. Yo, California. All right. Well, thanks you guys. Thanks for putting up with all my nonsense at the beginning, and I could not talk clearly about how to switch that collar. So, but you're living in Denver. Yeah, so you live in Colorado too. You have to not buy candy very often. I know. Right now we have the Halloween candy in the house, and I don't know how I did it, but I didn't get one with peanut M&Ms in it, but I did get one with Reese's peanut butter cups. And any of you my age that had Reese's peanut butter cups back then, and they were way better, the dark chocolate ones taste like those did when I was a kid. They're not as good anymore. So, Palo Ricos. Oh, really? Palo Ricos. I've never heard of that. I want to try that now. Reese's Pieces or Reese's Cups? Kids, you're not peanut M&Ms, dude. Pieces, though. I mean, they're good. They're good. You know what my mom loves? When we were at Target, we looked at every single bag of candy. She was looking for the bites, like the snack size of Nutrageous. Ban me. I'm not gonna ban you. Now I'll just get them all. I'll have to do a comparison. I've tried all the new flavors are pretty good, but I like it's the texture. I like crunchy. Some people don't. I like crunchy things in my ice cream too sometimes. Like sometimes I put almonds on top. Yeah, that's why I got those on Amazon. It's the only place I could find them, unfortunately. And I only do it when they can include it in the box with other things. I'm not going to just buy those on and have them shipped, you know? I always stand here and stretch my leg. That's what I'm doing. I know it looks probably funny. All right, well, we're going to sew this tomorrow. It'll be great. We're going to do a zip neck, just a little version of that. Yeah. And we're going to do part 1 tomorrow and part 2 Saturday. This is definitely a part 1, part 2 because I'm going to take my time with all the details. It's going to be good though. I think these details are really great. So check out her site. You can check out what are the patterns she has, and there's 15% off if you use the code SoSoLive right now. And it'll be a good layering piece. You can get fabrics like this, like Seattle Fabrics. Maybe Rain Shed still has some if they're not closed down yet. And I think even places like just regular online fabric stores like Hearts and stuff have polar fleeces. But you could use that melange sweater knit that we did for the toaster for this. That would be scrumptious. So, all right. If there's no power outage, you will see me here tomorrow at 11 a.m. I'll let you know on Instagram. If you don't, I'll always put my post up on Instagram. You can always look, even if you don't have an Instagram account, I think you can look at my account just to see. Aw, Rachel, but that'll be fun. Happy birthday. Have a great birthday. My husband just got an RV, and so I plan on going on little outings with him. So I have to do it like Sunday to Monday, though, or Tuesday. Can't give up Saturday streams. All right. I will see you tomorrow, guys. So just check Instagram. Make sure I'm going to be live. Pretty sure everything's going to be back to normal. It's going to be fine. If not, like if something has to change, I'll let you know. So just keep up to date on there. So, and again, thanks for all the support. If there is the links right there in the stream. If you want to support me, you can do a donation. And you know, here, I want to say one thing. If you guys don't have extra money and you don't want to send it my way, just watch the commercials during the streams or the videos. Just don't skip the ads. Go do something else. Because that would be another way to support me. And it would be no cost to you. Just time, which I know time is very valuable. I understand that very keenly. But yeah, I have Patreon, and the cupcake and pie slice pin cushions are almost done. I will probably have them out next week. So everyone who's donated is going to get that. And thank you so much, you guys. I really appreciate it. Yes, sleep well, you guys. Happy birthday, Rachel. Have a great weekend on your trip with your caravan and your husband. I think you said you're going with your husband. Yeah, you're welcome, you guys. Hasta mañana, iguanas. I will see you tomorrow, and I'm going to go to the store and get peanut ends. Thanks a lot, Megan. Bye, guys. See ya.